Hello, guys. The Chicago Rapid tournament happened yesterday, Saturday, November 1st, in Chicago. Here is the tournament webpage. This was one of the more exciting, interesting tournaments that have happened recently. Um, Here is where it happened, right next to Chicago. They had this one in a church. Um, this is a cost and some discounts, and it's 5 rounds, 25 minutes plus 10 seconds per move Fisher time. So you gain 10 seconds every move. Um, there's a relatively large cash prize pool, and since it's 25 minutes plus 10 seconds per move, each game lasts approximately 250, 300 moves. Each game's length is relatively settled. So each round lasts approximately an hour and a half. Here, they've allocated an hour and 40 minutes for 5 rounds. So it's great. A lot of rounds. It's just one day, but very, very efficient, highly well-run tournament. Okay, and we have some very strong players here. We had Albert, who is the organizer. He only fills in when there's an odd number of players, and he filled in a few games in this tournament. He filled in for 3 of the rounds. So unfortunately, he will not be placing because he's the organizer and he doesn't play all the rounds. Out of the contenders, we have Jeremy, who is super strong, and Do-Hyuk Kim, who is flying over from Korea. Kenny is a 6-dan, and then we have 5-dans and 4-dans here. 78 players, very, very strong players. All right, so there's a lot to see in the tournament, and even though Kim Do-Hyuk, he insists on being called an 8-dan, his AGA rating is, and here is the AGA American Go Association page is where you can check your AGA rating. Do-Hyuk's actual AGA rating is lower than Jeremy's. Jeremy is right here, he's 7.95, and Do-Hyuk is 7.88, which is still relatively high, but just mentioned, Do-Hyuk, he really wants to be 8-dan from how he really insists on being called an 8-dan every time. Last Chicago tournament that happened in May, Do-Hyuk flew over from Korea as well, and he won that tournament undefeated for 7 rounds and gained a lot of ratings. So despite that, his rating is still a little bit below Jeremy's. Both of these players are no doubt trying to win this tournament, of course, but really, really, both of them are really coveting for that 8.0 rating, which would actually make yourself called, which would actually be an AGA 8-dan if we're looking at it this way. All right, so needless to say, no super big surprises in the tournament in the top division. Congrats to this guy, Xiong. He or she went undefeated in the 4-dan division, or the one division below the open, and placed first in the 2nd division. And in the open division, no surprises came, and the match would come down between the two powerhouses. Albert, because he only fills in, was not able to play either of these guys. So by far, they have the strongest ratings. And thanks to Tang Jie here, they have the first board recorded on one of those ISIS smart boards. Tang Jie also played in the tournament. Jeremiah Dunley, he placed 1 and 4. Unfortunately, maybe he didn't feel so well after the doing the board and the streams and things like that. He still did better than his fellow 5-dan, this guy Sang-Soo Kim, who is this must be the biggest disappointment. He went 0-5 as a 5-dan. This means, in American tournaments, 0-5 means you go 0-3 and then you play against a 3-dan, 4-dan, and then you play 3-dan, you still lose. You play against another 3-dan and you still lose. So a bit of a disappointment there. Jeremiah Dunley has a bit of an excuse. Anyways, thanks to Jeremiah Dunley, we have some game records. The ISIS boards. I don't know if he did the connections, but certainly this is where you guys can catch board 1 of the Chicago Rapid that just happened. So we're really interested in the powerhouse game, round 4, between the two top contenders. Could argue that Kenny, may have had a good run too, but anyways, thanks to Kenny for the profile picture in the front. He won a 3rd place trophy, and that's the trophy that we see in the profile. Anyways, here is a battle. Jeremy is black. In the AJ rules, if you're checking AI with a high Comey of 7.5, white has about a 60-61% win percentage under the AJ rules. So a bit of an advantage to white in the beginning. Do-hyup here. Okay, but here you'll see Jeremy definitely brought his A game to this tournament. He's playing black. Since he did much better in this game, we're gonna look into this game more from his perspective. Here is the first decision point. So this move is a very territorially minded move. Totally okay. White fights back against it. Hane, black just simply jumps. Usually this is should be a little bit worse for black because usually the Hane is blocked, so without a second thought. But okay, black attacks and white plays this move. So after a couple of exchanges, everyone is expecting black to get the corner, but this is very stylistic, and it's definitely one of Jeremy's super strengths. He plays here. He doesn't play the regular aggressive greedy move, just defends, allows white to Atari, just defends, allows white to Hane, connect, and capture a stone. This looks good for white, and it is, but this is like his trademark style. In fact, here at this moment, white has a 3-point lead. At this point, white has a slightly bigger lead. Might have been something else to play here, not sure. In any case, small disadvantage to black off of the beginning of the game. But this is where the thing with Jeremy is so strong in this kind of situations. It's very safe, and once he's very safe, he's like he's able to. It's like the opposite of magic, if you guys know what that means. On the Go board, he's like, there's nothing complicated about any of the moves that he's gonna play coming up. A simple 2-space extension. There's nothing. It's like the opposite of magic and flamboyant, flashy fighting. It's the opposite of that, and it's brutally effective in these games. Okay, in this game, Do-hyup plays a peep, plays this move, and this move. This is just so good-tempered, and everything just makes the black positions a little bit stronger. White attaches, black just simply responds. This result seems a little bit good for black. White began the conflict here, but all the exchange of moves, 4 moves for 4 moves, it seems like white has sort of blobbed up a little bit, and black is very straight, very like stretched out. And so seems like this little bit helped black out a little bit, and the AI will agree. White had a slightly bigger advantage than 2.5 before this. Anyways, the game continues. Black is just so ultra solid. Like there's no stones that are more than 2 spaces away from a friendly stone for black. Such compactness, it's it's really safe. it's really hard to copy, and it's really safe. Next move, this move very, very reasonable, and the game continues. And you'll see here, when it came to the middle game, it was white who, with L4, with this attach, white always went for a little bit of efficient, and white's gonna attach here. White's always going for this, like a little bit extra. This is exactly the way I play. So when I see what's gonna happen in this game later, this makes me be very, very worried as a Go player, because a lot of the moves white is going to play these attaches, trying to get some extra territory in Sente, and then a lot of this is what I would play too as white. And like everything black plays is very simple, very it just connects, punish and makes a little a counter attack. But then black just blocks, gives up the inside corner stone, so well tempered. This is a very possible fighting sequence. I probably would have done this. I wouldn't have done this, but this was much, much better. And because black was able to get Sente on the bottom, black now has totally clawed back the disadvantage, the slight disadvantage from earlier. White made a very big corner, but black got some moves on the outside, and crucially, black is the one coming out of this first fight with the next move. And the way black plays the next part is really scary. Now there's one kind of scary in Go where you can imagine my 3 stones here comes under heavy attack, opponent comes, just really attacks super, super strongly. There's a second kind of scary, which is this kind of attack, and you'll see exactly black attacks here. This is very reasonable. It cuts off white's escape path from the bottom. But notably, it's not black still has a little bit of agi left with these cuts. He's not worried because this stuff is all Sente, and he can connect to the outside. But it's not like the strongest move in the world, or the safest move in the world. So white runs, and next move black plays here. This is a very slow-looking, simple diagonal move. It's totally strong because it's 100% connected to that one stone, and it sort of alleviates the problems of the agi here with the cut by making the outside black group a little bit more developed. And after this move, this is the other kinds of scary in Go. You'll see that black is making middle influence, white is still under attack, and you can just see that there's no future for white, in the sense that white doesn't see himself making any territory with this group, but it's very, very easy to see black make a lot of territory in the future. And that's a second kind of scary, the bleak future prospects kind of scary. The game itself is still very, very even. White has a little bit more territory. In fact, it's hard to see where black is going to come up with, territory to catch up with white. You'll see quickly white has 50 points already on the board, 30 here, 15 here, more than 10 here, less than 10 here. White has 50 points already. You can't count 30 points for black, but the game is even, and it's just this other kind of scary. So white goes and continues the aggression, attach and cross-cut. Here is where white begins to falter a little, and that's the other part of the scary part of this. White Atari is looking to get a little bit of a, and then white's going to connect, strengthen this group, and go into the, white has more territory. White just wants to strengthen the group as much as possible, but here is where white sort of goes astray a little bit, and it's like the slightest overplay ever. Black counterattacks here, and that's where the scary stuff really starts to materialize. Before it was like, I don't see myself making much. Now you're like, white has a lot of weak stones, and it's beginning to really mount the pressure. And this is where black really took off in the middle game. It's like so rock solid. White takes a ko, black plays here, welcoming the ko. White has no ko threats. None of these moves are big enough. Black will capture this. And here the thickness that black played with before is really showing up. You can imagine white cutting, but this is a lot of damage, but it's not like capturing the black group kind of damage. And so this is not enough. The top right corner is way too big. So in the game, white was not able to find any good ko threats. And so here, white has to connect. And then two choices. Black can expand on the outside or Atari here and then connect underneath. Both of these are possible. This is the best AI recommended diagram. You'll see here white somewhat made inroads into the corner but ended up with a blob, and then black ended up with a no weakness corner with about as much territory as before. And this is the thing. So white really wants to win the ko back. So white played here, not being able to find the best ko threats. But this is so after these moves, black runs home with the knight's move, and white plays here. The attack really was cashed in, and with this super strong and large corner shape. This is where black built a very good lead. The final nail in the coffin, that's really scary as a Go player, that completes the nightmare scenario, is this move. You're counter-attacking black, but he's all of a sudden connected home. There's no more cuts, and he continues to make territory. This is all territory, and this whole thing is black territory now. This completes a nightmare. Now it is up to white. Now white has a territory disadvantage. The 50 points is no longer sufficient. Black has 40 points in this corner now with 60 points in the game. Black is now already slightly ahead on the territory, and black has more potential. For example, the next black move, extending out to the top. This is making thickness territory, so it's not the most efficient move in the world, but clearly black already had enough, and if you let him have a little more, it's all over, and it's the last open area on the board too. So now white, last gasp fighting attempt, almost. It feels like a last gasp attempt because black just has more and white needs to attack and gain something. But it's still very early, and with Do Hyup, who is a very strong fighter, if anything, the game is still early yet, but white plays here. Here we'll see some more of the scary part about this kind of play. Remember, super solid all the way into one mistake, and then with that ko takes a very sizable lead. Now black does not connect. When Jeremy is under attack, he's pretty good at taking care of the weaknesses, and this is a great way. He wants to force white to cut, and this is something white does not want to do. get attacked when you're attacking black, and as a result, black is able to connect really easily by forcing white to also connect home. So white fights back like this jump. Now white has two choices: run out this way and cut, lose a stone first, and then try to capture this, or black may just also run along to the top. In the game, this is, I'm sure a lot was deliberated about here. White decides to connect, to continue to attack. Another simple jump. And now white, if white cuts, another simple jump. Later on, this move is going to be sente, and the entire outside is all connected and forming more potential territory. Totally unacceptable. And this is such a clear, like, after black plays these moves in the center, you're like, man, I could have came up with this. But when white starts to peep here, how many of us would have connected and then faced a very tough attack, right? Okay, after this, white does not cut. White is also a very strong player. White peeps, and here black goes for not a direct connect. Next, this has gained black some sentes here, and after these sentes, this group can either connect to the middle or connect to the side. So everything black has is now relatively safe, and the lead has opened up to 14 points. Next move, you'll see some more. Really, this was quite an entertaining game to see. Jumps, this further solidifies the middle. White also takes a moment to claw back some territory, or to, there's no more push and cut now. But now black plays this wedging hane move, and white is unable to block. There's potentially strong moves like this one. Give up one stone in order to surround and capture the rest. What a nice shapes. After the Atari, black goes back, and the next set of moves you'll see. This is a no space move, a move right next to one of his stones. Another one, some exchanges, white connects, another one, white jumps, and another one. So black plays a few straight, like no space moves. This is like the most solid thing you can think of, but it really like runs you over when you're white, because look at where white has played. Moves here, and a move here, and a move here. Only one move, E, has some value, and all the moves black played is clearly surrounding some top territory, and namely A, B, C, D doesn't surround any territory for white. And so in this middle game, this has just worsened the situation. When white plays this block, this is a little bit of a, like, I have to do something useful with my moves in the middle here, but when you do it, it's not going to be that useful anymore. And so at the end of the game is when black also comes back and captures the 3 white stones here in the middle, and you begin to see like, what has white done with his attack? He's like attacked, but then the 3 stones died, the 1 stone at J16 died. All that white accomplished was connect at B16, a little endgame move. And the beauty of this was, at all stages of this, black took no risks. Everything was so rock solid. Last move here, another rock solid move. It's probably no longer 20 points, it's 17 points, and the game is just totally over. There's no more fighting left. There's no like, and at the end, they would fill everything, including the last 1 point move, and the game ends with a white resignation. It was 12.5 at the end, but 5 points in the end game. That was just the game has ended long before. No heavy fighting necessary. A few stones were captured from white, and there's just no fighting. And when you play against this kind of play from blacks, when you're facing a player like we're facing black in this game, it's really hopeless. And so I've played this against this kind of Go style so much now, and that I remember when we said how scary it was when black played this move and then this move. It's like so rock solid that it's scary. At first you don't see how scary it is. You're like, okay, I can run out, no problem. What's so scary about this? As the game went on, you begin to see more and more of how scary this is. One little over the line, like slightly over aggressive move, bam, counter attack, and you can't win this ko. You can't find any good ko threats, and you also can't accept losing slightly in this fight. Once this happens, you lose more and more. And when you finally do get a counter attack going, opponent connects with 10 points of territory home, and you have gained nothing. And then you go for desperate attacks, and everything is just so, it makes so much sense from black. And he goes back to the first principles, the solid stuff. This is really like the pace of these last moves was like, the slowest you can get, but it's so brutally effective. No space, one small move at a time, and white has jumped around, but at the end has accomplished nothing. Made 3 points maybe in the middle of the board. And now you're like really hopeless. You feel really hopeless when you play against this really like rock solid iron steel like bulldozer kind of game. All right, spent a lot of time going over this game. The game itself really not that complicated. I mean, every move that black played in this game, you guys probably could have came up with. But once you string this whole thing together and you get the system, that's like that's really, really strong. I mean, this is it's conservative. That's the scariest part. Anyways, so this is probably one of the cleanest victories, and congrats to Jeremy for winning the tournament and for winning this game and the tournament. Some comments were also very interesting. Well, so far the game is even. Okay, so it's the most exciting game of the tournament, so it also has a lot of these comments. Bold of black to yield the corner. Wouldn't have even considered it. I don't know enough about black. So Trevok is probably European. Do Hyup played a lot of European tournaments, and he won a lot of European tournaments. I think he wins 2/3 of the tournaments. I don't know much about B. Unfortunately, Jeremy, he also played a lot of the US tournaments, but I guess he's not as famous. I don't know enough about black to know how long they can stay on that edge. So to Trevok, clearly, like Do Hyup is extremely favored. Okay, B is an extremely strong player. I gather by your usage of extremely that B can hang with pros? Yes, of course. Depending on the pro, Jeremy is one of the strongest American amateurs. Okay, we'll skip over a little bit. That's why we're watching. This is very interesting. I mean, I've seen Do Hyup play in a number of French tournaments. I don't think I've ever seen him be really challenged by anyone he's played against. Wow. I knew he won some tournaments. I didn't know it was that bad. He has only won a single AGA tournament, which was this Chicago tournament back in May. I know he's lost to a few of our 6 dans like Eric Yoder in the past. For sure, he has seen better results in Europe. Okay, these are interesting and surprising tactics for most of us Go players, guys. We like to think of wherever we are from as the in a relatively strong light. So me, North America and East Coast. I think of course NA is very, very strong, and I think Northeast US is the strongest in North America, which makes sense. But yes, everyone tends to think this way. So that's why it's very nice to have Do Help here, who has better results in Europe and worse results in America. That makes my ego feel very good. But don't worry, guys. Everyone thinks they're better. Their region in the world is better than probably it is. So don't worry. Take what I say with a grain of salt. Jeremy at 10 minutes. Okay, this is how much time they had. Did he have any choices other than the call? Black is leading. Black was dominant this entire game, except for going behind in the early game, but you'll never know it from how rock solid he played. Okay, stream went down, don't worry. I suspect Do Help's not used to having actual competition on the Go ban. Trebok is a major Do Help fan. I hate to suggest it, but I think the northeast corner code was a bullying tactic, which didn't work and then backfired. It's spot on the top right corner, but the only thing was it may not have felt like bullying, but more as like a desperation kind of feel, where it's like, if I don't do something drastic here, I'll probably lose. And you get this feeling a lot. Yeah, too bad we didn't see Albert Yen, the other very strong player, play in the tournament. He organized. He only fills in with the odd number. This game was a super clinic. It's so scary because, and it's extra scary to myself because I play like how White does. A lot of what White played makes a lot of sense to me, so it's extra scary. Lastly, and this is much more. This is the most interesting part, more than whoever is winning the tournament, and that is, we teased it, the coveted 8.0 rating on the AGA ratings. And there's very few, it's notoriously difficult to rank yourself up in the AGA after your sigma drops. So here we have a little bit of a a little bit on the AGA ratings. For many of us, this isn't okay. Okay, this works. Okay, this works. So the AGA rating, now the thing, we did a whole long video about this, but we'll just summarize this. The AGA rating assumes, the system, it assumes that you are a skill level, which is good. This is your rating. And it just tries to zone in on your skill level based on you winning and losing games. So the most important thing you have to realize with the AGA ratings is it doesn't exist so that you can climb the rating ladder to go to like wherever you want to go to become pro, become a 1-dan, become a 10Q. It does not exist to do that for you. It exists simply to figure out your level of play and keep you there. And the more it figures you out, the harder it is to move, because the more it is sure of your skill level. So the AGA rating updates its confidence with every game that you play. If you win, it'll go up a little. If you lose, it'll go up. If you lose, it'll go down. If you played a lot of games with wins and losses, it'll go up very, very slowly. So it assumes that your skill level is constant, and it sort of just zones in and sort of keeps you there. So as this rating system goes, there's a very large amount of movement at first when the rating system is not sure where you are, but it's really, really hard to move your rating and improve, especially to gain 1 dan for any active Go player, because the AGA rating exists to figure out your level of play. It doesn't exist as a ladder for you to conquer, sort of. So this means your first tournaments are the most important because your rating goes up and down the most here. And then your rating would go up and down smaller and smaller, and then it becomes harder to make. There's very few parameters to the rating system. There's your rating, and then there's your sigma. Sigma is the it's a square root of variance. It's that character, that Greek character that we all learned in statistics and math. And this is how certain the AGA is about your rating. And the more you play, the lower your sigma goes to. And it might be sigma squared, it might be sigma itself, which is your multiplier for your rating changes. If it's sigma squared, having a low sigma really, really impedes the speed with which you can, move, move your rating. So it's notoriously difficult to change your rating. And how to change your rating quickly? Basically, there's no way to once the AGA rating system has figured you out, quote unquote. You have to raise your sigma back up. So it's hard to do. One way is to have a really long stop, 5 years, 10 years, 3 years at the minimum. That would raise your sigma back up somewhat. Another way is to change your rank 3 levels. This works a lot for little kids when they're like, I'm no longer a 7Q, I am a 1Q now. That would reset your sigma too and allow you to move around quickly. Another is a new AGA account, maybe with a different name, maybe with the same name, I don't know. And the last one is, and this one is also very difficult. You have to win low probability games, because if you win against someone 2 ranks lower than you, that's supposed to happen, and that's the probability, say, is at 98%. What's the chance that the 2% thing happens? Very, very low, 2%. So if you pull off some miracles, if you beat a lot of players who are much stronger than you, that is a very big multiple to that one game. So if you are a 6 dan, you beat an 8 dan, that's a low probability event. It'll count, if it's a 3% event, it'll count 30 times as much as a game where you lose to the same player. Anyways, so needless to say, any of these are super difficult, except maybe change your rank. Just claim that you are a lot stronger than you are, and that'll work. New AGA account, I'm sure the AGA doesn't want you to do that. It wants you to keep your own account. And of course, it doesn't want you to stop playing tournaments for a very long time. Of course, right? I hope not. I hope so. Anyway, so there's really no good way to get to a place where you can change your rating quickly. And so as a result, we have this tournament, and the coveted AGA rating of 8.0 dan is what a lot of players of professional strengths really, really vie towards. And we'll see Alan Huang, Albert Yan, Jeremy, they're all very, very close. Song Guanyu, he's the newest AGA pro. You'll see him in the news articles. And Do Help. So did Jeremy, with his 5-0 record, did he make it to the coveted 8.00 spot? That's the most interesting question of the day. And he And the AGA has awarded Jeremy for going 5-0 in a tournament 7.95 to 7.97. 2/100ths of a Dan level of ratings for going 5-0 on a tournament and then beating someone who had almost the same rating as he did. Okay. What the hell just happened here? Yes, Jeremy won, Jeremy, and Jeremy. So it's 5-dan, 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 6-dan, and 7-dan. Really, Do Help is 7-dan. So how much rating did Jeremy win by winning the tournament and going 5-0? 0.02. Yes, that's what this is worth. Great. Oh God. So basically the other wins gained 0, and then winning this one gained him 0.02. And this is why you'll see Jeremy I think this early time, this is when he was still young. This was a 3 rank or more jump, and then he just reset his sigma. But later, with all these tournaments, the rating became relatively constant. This is the COVID low of a couple of years, no AGA tournaments. But really, what does Jeremy get for playing about as many Go tournaments as he could in the US? Look at all these Go tournaments. He gets his rating to a place where the AGA is so sure of his rating and says, oh, you went 5-0? Okay, you gain 0.02. Oh boy. Justice was served somehow. No justice. There's no justice in this world. Last tournament, Jeremy went 3-1, but because he played a 7-dan, he played me, who was an 8-dan, 8.3, and Alan, who was 7.9. He was able to gain 0.03 instead of 0.02 by going 5-0 in Chicago. Wow. Nice. Okay, so so upon this data point, feels to me like this sigma is probably like how much each game matters to your rating. The sigma probably goes by it's probably proportional to sigma squared. I'm not as well adversed to the AGA ratings math as I could be, but feels like probably it's sigma squared. Jeremy has one of the lowest sigmas here, 0.17. I have a 0.17, but I played a lot of Go tournaments. The more you play, the lower your sigma gets, and so this is the state of the rating system. Congratulations to Jeremy for going 5-0 and gaining 0.02 on the AGA ratings. Oh God. Where's Do Help? Yeah, he started. So Kim Do Help, he started with a higher sigma. His sigma is rapidly going down. And because he was 7.88, now he's 7.81 for going 4-1 in this tournament. He lost to a comparable player. He lost while Jeremy gained 0.02. Do Help has a higher sigma, so he lost 0.07 or 8, and all his victories was 99% probability events or something. Probably, and he gained no rating. So this is how the AGA ratings work. We have now remember, guys, the first few tournaments when your sigma was still very, very high, those are the most important tournaments. Like, for example, see Bill here, he hasn't played a lot, and he played one recent tournament. He went 4-1. His rating is very, very high. Ryan played 2 tournaments. His rating is also high, but his sigma is going rapidly down. And yeah, like we have players, you can get to 8 dan if you are just starting out and you haven't played many tournaments. You score a couple of victories, just make sure you don't lose to lower ranked players. And you can get to 8th dan pretty easily if you're a new player. And if you played, hundreds of games in your history, this is 47 games Jeremy played in the last 15 months, so a year and a little bit. If you play a lot, you can't gain any rating, and that's how the rating system works in the AGA at this moment. From these data points, really, I think it goes by sigma squared. Leave a comment if you know a little bit better. Yeah, it's so much easier if you are a newcomer, foreigner player, and you just play one Go tournament. You can get very high AGA ratings. But if you play for dozens and dozens of tournaments, you can't gain any rating. Anyways, I just hope, well, what I really hope for is this. So as you guys can see, Jeremy, there's Albert, there's the new AGA pro Song Guanyu. There's a few very strong players here, and the AGA rating, maybe they'll make it to 8.0, the coveted title. Maybe they won't. Maybe it's just very, very difficult to. Like, I'm on my way down. I'm here. I'm 8.3. I've won this many games, basically a 4-to-1 ratio, 3.8 to 1 ratio. I played all these tournaments, so I'm on my way down. I can't gain any rating. So I just hope that people like Jeremy and Albert and Alan, very strong players. I just hope they continue to engage with the AGA community and Go tournaments. Hopefully play in the AGA professional qualifiers. Get yourselves a rank of 1P. That way you don't have to go around and keep worrying about your AGA ratings. And yeah. Hopefully, that's what I hope they do. But if the AGA wants to fix how this issue with the ratings, you could imagine something very easy. Just have their sigmas stay relatively high, and then everything is good. But as we mentioned at first, to conclude, the AGA ratings do not seem to. It doesn't exist to help you, it doesn't exist as a ladder for you to climb. It exists as a confidence interval to figure out your actual level of play, which is expected to be constant. And so the more it figures you out, the harder it is to move out of this confidence interval range. You can move down, but you can't move up. There's no way to address this unless they change the system. But just keep the sigma up at like 0.4 at the minimum would probably do it. So that would be probably the easy fix for everything. But right now, you gotta stop playing the tournaments, which of course no one wants. Change your rank 3 levels, nobody's gonna allow, and win low probability games, which you can't do, and then you have to settle for crime and register new AGA accounts, which Though Hyup really wanted to do back in New York. I remember he's like, I'm an 8 dan, I want to be an 8 dan. Organizer said, your AGA rating is 7.4. He's like, can I have a new AGA account? Very smart. He zoned in on the exact right decision, and that would have solved all his problems. He could be 8.0, he could be and he could have a real 8 dan AGA account. Unfortunately, the AGA is rapidly figuring him out too, so it's gonna be harder and harder for him as well. He just went 4-1 in a tournament and lost 0.07 of rating. Alright, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Congrats to Jeremy. Don't mind what the AGA thinks of you. You're 8 dan in our hearts forever and ever. Leave a comment and see you guys in the next video. See you guys.